Jesus, as we know, was truly compassionate, wholly compassionate. Did his message only pertain to humans?
No. In fact, the most popular verse in Christendom, I think, at least the children usually learn, is "For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son." If we get to that, it's when he says, "For God so loved the world," he's talking about the whole of creation. He's not just talking about human beings. He's talking about all of creation. Christ came to free creation from the corruption to which it was subjected. And we who call ourselves Christians are supposed to reach that level. We were supposed to, even in Jesus, tells us that we will be able to accomplish even more than he was able to accomplish. And that's because we can carry on his mission of love and compassion. It's not just getting converts and writing a check mark. You know, I got another one. That's not the way he was.
Right.
He wanted us to have new hearts that were soft and pliable, that would feel the pain and suffering of the whole of creation. And to kill, another living being, particularly for pleasure, and not feel its pain and suffering, I just can't fathom that.
Yes, absolutely. Now, who was St. Francis of Assisi?
St. Francis was a member of the elite society of his day. He saw a lot of injustice in the world, and he felt a compassion for the downtrodden. And he turned his back on the riches of his father and went off into the wilderness, so to speak, and lived a monastic lifestyle. And everything he did was to teach compassion, whether it was for a human or for an animal. And he even goes so far as to call the physical creation, aspects of the physical creation, his brothers and sisters. He just had a way of relating to the whole of creation in a loving way that shows his love of God. You cannot truly love God if we don't love his creation. And to abuse and destroy his creation cannot be in love of God. It has to be in love of someone else.
Thank you for that explanation. And so many of the great religious leaders had an all-encompassing love of both humans and animals and the environment. So it's very interesting. Now, if you could deliver a sermon to hunters and trappers directly, what would you say to them?
Well, I have delivered sermons to hunters and trappers, and I've done it in their churches, and they've been in my church. And the biggest problem is that usually they don't want to listen, and I've even had some of them walk out. My sermons are rarely directed against hunting, but they're directed against cruelty, they're directed against wanton killing, they're directed against anything that would not be a peacemaker type of ministry. It's that we're to love the whole of creation. We're to be peacemakers. And Jesus says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they should be called children of God." And Paul picks up on it and says that we're to be, as the children of God, we're to be the ones whom the whole of creation groans and mourns for, to free it from its corruption. And if we aren't that, we're not the followers of Christ. And these people that wantonly kill for personal greed or satisfaction have hardened their hearts, and they don't want to hear that other message. They don't want to change their way. And until we're emotionally involved enough that we begin to feel the pain and suffering of every other living being on this planet, we're never going to be able to change. We're to have a softened heart. We're not to harden our hearts. We're to soften our hearts. And I can't do it in a sermon. It's got to be their willingness to receive it. Because I know that if they're willing to open their minds and their hearts to what I'm saying, the Holy Spirit will do the rest of the work. And there have been plenty of hunters in the world who have felt that movement and decided, no, I can't do this anymore.
Absolutely. And we even know of some in our own movement who've given up hunting and have become great advocates for animals and have opposed hunting. So, Frank, thank you so much for being on the air with us, and we look forward to having you back soon.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.